everybody. Don't know how well you can hear me, but in today's video, I'm going to kind of show you the tools that I keep with me in the truck every night. In the last video, I went over kind of the clothes and stuff that I keep with me for the winter time. So this video, I'll kind of add on to that with going over the tools and some of the parts that I keep lying around the truck. So we'll just kind of start on this side. So I keep a bunch of these red rags. They're nice for oil, grease, whatever you kind of get on your hands. They're nice to have to wipe things off. And then underneath that is my emergency kit. It's got your road triangles, and sometimes they'll have road flares. It's not as common anymore because they're kind of dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Then underneath that, I've got some clamps that'll help tie down the hoses for the intakes on the turbo or the regular air intake and the exhaust, you know, things of that nature that need to be clamped down to pipes. I got some zip ties for holding things up. These belts are for my alternator, because if I don't have an alternator, I don't run. And so I got a couple spares of those just in case something breaks. I got an extra set of gloves in here. I got this hammer. I think this is a 3 or 4 pound hammer. I don't really like using this one as much because it's got the wood handle, so there's a risk of it breaking on me, and I think the handle's already cracked. But I just keep it around just in case. Here's some more some straps that I use for tying down my loads. I got another video coming out next week for you guys about straps. So here's the ratchet style, and the one that I use in the video is a pull type. So it's the same fabric as this, but it's instead of having a ratchet, you just kind of pull on it to tighten up the straps. But I got a couple of those. I got an extra headlight. That way, if during the middle of the night my headlight goes out, I can just stop on the side of the road or on an on-ramp or off-ramp, swap that out so I can see what I'm doing. And then over here I keep a spare fluids for everything in the truck. So I've got some coolant that I check about once a week to make sure it's still topped off, not low. And if it is, I can just add it quick. I don't have to go buy any or have to go to the shop and get some. And then I've also got a couple gallons of oil here that I keep in the truck. That way, like again with the coolant, like if it's low, instead of having to run back to the shop or call the boss to bring me out a gallon, I've got it here with me so I can just kind of take care of it then. And then I just write it down on my mileage sheet every week, what I'm using for coolant or any fluids. That way they can know to kind of keep me topped off. So now we'll go inside. So all that's kept in this little side box on the side of the truck here. So we'll come inside the truck here, and then right by the door is usually where I keep my gloves. I have a little brush here that I use to kind of sweep the floor out, keep it as clean as I can. Then I got another hammer. This is my main kind of thumping hammer. And I have my fire extinguisher, which you have to have for DOT. And then I keep my fuel gloves tucked in this nice little pocket right there. And then we'll come all the way in the truck here where it's nice and warm. Here's my little phone holder, which is really nice to have. So during the night, if somebody calls me or if I'm listening to music or a podcast, it keeps my phone in a convenient spot where it's not, you know, it's not in the window blocking my vision for anything, and it's not, you know, off on my seat, kind of away from, you know, distracting me, where it's right there. I know where it is. I can reach down. I can, you know, if someone's answering me, I can answer my phone, or if someone's calling me, I can answer my phone quick. It's not a big distraction. It's not out of the way. Here's my handmade or my homemade kind of paperwork organizer. So I keep envelopes up here for all my paperwork at the end of the week that I turn in, and then it's just got a few dividers that I made, and then here's my clipboard that I do my paperwork on throughout the week. I like this style of clipboard because it's got a little pen pocket here on the bottom, so I can keep extra pens and markers, and then it also flips open, so that's where I can keep my logs and kind of keep myself a little bit more organized. And one thing you'll find is if you ever get pulled over to do a DOT inspection, if your paperwork's organized and your truck's clean, you got a better chance of not getting a really bad inspection or them going super hard on you, because they kind of tell that you got your stuff together, so they're gonna they won't be looking as hard to try and find stuff. to kind of get you on. So we'll crawl back in the bunk here. Here's an extra hat. This is just some washer fluid for the windshield. It's always good to have a couple extra gallons of that stuff laying around, just because you never know when you're gonna run out. And in the wintertime, you're almost always using it. And then underneath the bed here, grab my toolbox. So I like to keep my toolbox and most of my smaller tools in the truck, just because if for some reason I do need them, I'd rather be able to grab them inside the truck instead of having to stand on the driver's side, pull everything out of there. So in here, I got another set of mechanics gloves. These are a little bit different style. So these ones have the Velcro, which I don't really like as much, but I keep them around because it's always good to have an extra set of gloves. Then in this top part, this is where I keep kind of my main tools, or my main parts and pieces that I more than likely I'm going to need in the middle of the night. So I have, it's called a 6-way screwdriver. These are pretty, I like having these around because it's 6 tools in one. So you have your different tips. So this Phillips head comes off and flips around to a flathead. And then you can also use this end here that'll fit into these screw clamps at the same time. So it's super nice to have one of these in your toolbox instead of having, 4 or 5 different screwdrivers and then a couple socket drivers. You just have the one tool to carry with you. I have my tire gauge that's able to read up to I think it's like 150 psi. That's one thing you want to kind of keep in mind if you're getting a tire gauge. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Yeah, so 150 psi. So if you go to like AutoZone or Napa or O'Reilly or whatever you have, any car parts store, you might only find like a car vehicle grade tire gauge that only goes up to like 100 psi. But with trucks, the trailer tire pressure and the drive tires on a truck are usually about 95, and then your steer tires are usually like 110, 120. So most car tire gauges, like the smaller ones, won't actually read that high. So you got to go buy a truck tire gauge, which can go up to a higher pressure. And then moving on, I got some wrenches here. It's just random wrenches, nothing really too specific. I just kind of like to have a little bit of everything in my truck. That way I can kind of deal with most minor situations that I could come across in the middle of the night. In this drawer, I got my pliers, needle nose, some crescent wrenches, or slip joint pliers. These are nice to kind of work in any situation. I have a Gerber multi-tool. This comes in pretty handy. If you're not really sure what you're going to get into, I can grab this, and I can actually put this up here. But I can grab this guy, and it's got a pliers, screwdriver, flat blade, it's got a knife, it's got all kinds of different tools on it. Granted, it's not like the best tool for any of those situations, but if it's something small or something quick that you need to use it for, it works out pretty good. And then in the bottom drawer here, I have my sockets and just a straight Phillips headed screwdriver. So I have this Husky socket set and wrench. These are metric and imperial. I do need to get an organizer for this so they're not rolling around. And then I have a breaker bar as well that'll fit in those sockets. And that's all I really carry for tools in the truck. It's always good to have even like a basic set of tools, especially in the wintertime when you don't want to be broken down for long periods of time. So you want to have something that, if it's something simple like a hose clamp or a loose nut here or there, it's nice to have your own little set of tools. So instead of having to call a service truck or wait for somebody to kind of swing by and help you out, you can kind of take care of it yourself. And that goes a long ways to kind of keep you on the road and kind of keep the money flowing for yourself. Because like most truckers, we don't get paid if we're not driving. So the more you can drive, the more money you're gonna make. So taking 5-10 minutes out of your day to, you know, fix something simple is going to help you make more money, then you might as well do it. And, you know, a decent, you know, toolkit is going to cost you maybe $100, $200 to get, you know, a small socket set, a set of pliers, and like a screwdriver set or that 6-way screwdriver. You know, you're only looking at about $100. So doing that, you know, that one-time cost that you can have with you in any truck you drive, you change companies, you can take your toolkit with you. It's a pretty good investment. And if you ever get out of trucking or you do something different, you can take that toolkit, take it to your house, and use it, you know, at home. You don't have to leave it just in your truck. But that's all I got for you guys today. So I will catch you in the next one. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and keep an eye out for the next video, which I'll be going over the tie downs and how I tie down those rolling coolers that I have in my trailer. Thanks for watching. Peace out.